Hello there, you're listening to Yakkin with Nick. I am Nick Hazelton. Let's talk about the meaning of life today. But first, yes, this is the only episode I've released this week. I normally release 2 by Friday or by Thursdays, but I decided to spend my time differently this week. It was beautiful here in Kings Valley, Oregon. I got to work outside a whole bunch. I actually got tan. Can you believe that? A little bit. I'm not that impressive, but I don't know. It's all right. I'm looking at my arms. Anyway, so vain. I decided to work outside and postpone recording shows until it was raining. Like today, it's disgusting out there. It's pretty warm, but it's disgusting. Disgusting. Just like Oregon weather typically is. But anyway, I wanted to talk about the meaning of life today. I just listened to episode 958 of the Joe Rogan Experience with Jordan Peterson, where they talked a lot about purpose and fulfillment and the basics of living life on this planet and as human beings, I guess. Talked a lot about that, and I thought the information that came out of it just resonated with me a lot. And I wanted to talk about it because I have been thinking about this and talking about this issue of, what am I trying to do here? What are we all trying to do here on this planet, in this existence, in this life? For a long time, I've been thinking about it. So I wanted to talk about it again and talk about it with some more focus on what it means to live the best life you can. So, I want to tackle these questions. But first, I want to say, if you haven't listened to that episode, check it out. It's 3 hours long, totally worth it. If you're not familiar with Jordan Peterson, you don't really have to be. This episode is just great. If you're not familiar with Joe Rogan, you don't have to be. Jump in there, listen to it, and absorb that information, listen to it again, absorb some more information, apply some of it. I don't care. Do whatever you want. Listen to the episode, though. It's cool. Anyway, I'm going to listen to it a few times because it was really that good. Honestly, Joe Rogan says it was his favorite episode of the podcast yet, and I have to say that it's probably my favorite so far from him, and I found a lot of value in it. So I wanted to talk about the meaning of life and how we can find some fulfillment in life, because that's really what I'm looking for, and fulfillment is an interesting word. I guess what I'm saying what I mean is that it's I'm looking for a life that involves much more than just some surface level pleasure, right? Surface level being immediate pleasure, like drugs make you feel good, food tastes real good, sex is fun. I'm not trying to just do that. I'm looking to do things that I'm going to have a lot of pride in terms of accomplishing something, building something, creating stuff. That's the kind of life I'm looking for. That's what I mean by fulfillment. It's really meeting these goals that I have set, and those goals have been to create stuff so that I am proud at the end of my life, right? Because when it comes down to it, this is really what fuels me to pursue this idea, is I'm not going to live forever, and I only get one life here. I've got maybe 90 years. That's lucky. My grandpa lived to 92. If I make it that far, that's pretty impressive, I think. Chances are, I live from 60 to 80, and who knows, maybe I get gored by a yak tomorrow. It could happen, right? And it could be cut short any moment. And many people try to avoid thinking about this because it's scary thinking about how life could just end, and someday that it's going to end, that we're not going to be here forever. It's a scary thing to think about. But here's the thing, let's make it the best we can, and ignoring that isn't going to be beneficial. Maybe you believe that there's an afterlife and this doesn't really apply to you, but here's the thing, we get one life here. Why not make it the best it can be? Like, yeah, right, you get what I mean. Let's make it the best it can be, it's just so problematic. This is one of the things with religion, is I don't like the idea of an afterlife, because I think it can make you feel like, well, hey, I don't really have to try as hard to live this life. And maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. it can be beneficial, I'm sure. But it's my choice. Well, it's not really, I don't know. Are my beliefs my choice? That's another entirely different question. But I do believe that I only get one life here, and I need to spend it the best way I can. Otherwise, what am I doing here? I'm just wasting it. So I'd like to take full advantage of what I have here and live a life that is filled with enjoyment and something I can look back on and say this is great. Because, I think that what I'm most scared of is that I won't do, I won't get to do what I want to do. And with Stoicism, I've found some ways to kind of come to peace with that. Nick will never, ever not mention Stoicism in an episode. I bet you. This is about yaks. It's one or the other. Anyway, this is where I come from when I tackle this issue of how do we live the best life we can. And I think that it's a very dire issue. So I've been spending a lot of time thinking about it over the last, I don't know, it's been a while. More than a year, I'm sure. But definitely a lot recently in kind of setting the goals for my life and thinking about what do I want to do. Because I don't know, I'm young and I'm figuring these things out that I have only such a finite amount of time, and that I can accomplish things. And what do I want to accomplish? I'm thinking about all these things right now. So I think that I can talk about it because I've figured some things out that I think are valuable that may help you. And I guess who I'm really thinking about when I make this show, when I thought about making this show, is young people, because I don't think that many young people are on, at least they don't feel like they're on the right path. I know I wasn't for a long time. Throughout my teenage years, I was very confused about what I was trying to do, and I didn't feel like I was being very effective in getting what I wanted done for a lot of reasons. But I feel like kids, the earlier you are, or the younger you are, and the earlier you figure this out, I think is very beneficial. And I think that while I don't like to brag, and I don't like to use myself as an example of somebody who's done it right, because I haven't done it yet. I've been doing, like, yes, you can say that I have some pretty cool accomplishments under my belt, and I don't mean to brag. It's just true. I've produced over 100 hours of content by the time I was 18. I started a business with assets more than $30,000 with it. I've gained some wealth. I'm not making a whole lot of money, but it's because I've been taking the money I have made and putting it into my business, right? And that's more than a lot of people can say at this age, right? What kind of business are you running? Yeah, you might have a job and you're working, you're making a decent amount of money. But how do you know where you're at, and how do you know this is the life you want to live? Because that's what I've realized is I've made some pretty atypical choices. I'm not following the standard path that has been set for kids in this society. And I dropped out of school, and I'm starting a farming business. I'm one of the youngest farmers around, right? The average age of a farmer is supposed to be 55. I'm, less than 3 times that age starting a farm. I'm not really following the typical pursuit that most people are. I don't remember why I was saying that. I guess I was going to say that if you're young, you want to figure out what you want to do so that you can get the best out of it. And it's fine if you don't. I don't think that it's such a terribly important thing to figure out exactly what you want to do, but I think that you want to have in mind what you're looking for. And at least that's what I've found, is that through my atypical choices, this is what my point was, is some would say that I have some disadvantages, or I'm starting out in a weird way, right? Because man, being self-employed is very different, and most people don't understand it. A lot of people look at me and think, well, he's making a lot of mistakes. He dropped out of school. He's not making any money. He won't get a job. He just insists on doing this thing with Yaks that's, who knows if it's going to be successful. I know that a lot of people think about that, about me that way, and I know that they're, because people have told me. I know that because people have told me, and I know that's just how people think about entrepreneurs and people who follow this kind of path. So what I've had to do is make sure that I understand what I'm doing, because I've been handed a lot of criticism from friends and family and people I don't even know. And I understand where they're coming from, but it can be quite frustrating. And for a long time, I found it frustrating because I wasn't entirely sure it wasn't going to work, or that it was going to work out myself. Now I'm pretty confident that I'm on the right path, but for a long time, I felt pretty insecure about it. And you can listen to some of my shows about it too, way back on the Anarcho-Yakkidalism podcast, where I've talked about this. But dealing with that, I really had to figure out what I was going to do, so that I'm because of my interest in Stoicism, I'm not really interested in proving people wrong. This is really for me. I'm living this life for myself, not to prove to other people that, hey, I can make it. It's for me, right? I'm living my life to enjoy it and to be proud of myself, not so that you are proud of me. I don't really care what you think. But the point I'm trying to make is I've had to figure it out, because I wanted security. I wanted to have self-esteem, to know that, hey, these people don't believe in me, so I'm the only one left. All right, and luckily I found a lot of people that do believe in me. A lot of people who support me in the show. A lot of my family. It took a little while to convince them, but I have a lot of support now. But at first, it was only me. And in all the struggles that I've had, even if we go back, and maybe I will go back, but let me finish this story before I start another one. I've had to figure it out. What am I trying to do, and how am I going to do it? So I've spent a lot of time looking at this, thinking about, what do I want out of my life? How am I going to get it? So I want to talk about how I've done that today. And with the business, I guess recently, the business is a big part of it, because I'm pursuing a lifestyle business, right? I want to be a farmer, so I'm trying to make money off that lifestyle. That's really what I'm trying to do. But I look at it, so I step back, and I feel like I'm jumping through my notes way faster than I thought I would. So maybe I should take a step back and say, I figured it out. Where do I go from here? Let me look at my notes. Yeah, so I guess I've discovered my purpose of life. And I won't get into it yet. So I told you a story. I had to figure it out, and I think I have so far. It could change. I could be wrong. I could maybe I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know. I might have to change what I have. But I have a purpose in life that I have spelled out. And if I have to, I can come back to it and say, this is what I'm doing. And I don't have to worry about that anymore. Of course, I'm going to keep exploring it, because I think it's wise to keep revisiting. What do you want in life? And I'm always going to think about that. But right now, I keep coming back to things that I've spelled out, so I'm quite happy with that. But let me say this: finding your purpose in life, it's going to be different than mine. Everybody's different. We're all individuals with unique desires and values. So, and NVC people and all that, some of these guys will say yes, or no, we have all the same needs or desires, values, and that we just choose different strategies. Well, I don't need to get into this. You get what I mean. We're all unique. We all have different strategies of getting there that work for different people, I guess. My path is not going to be yours. And you get to choose what your path is. Like, that's your decision. This is your life. Nobody else is going to make that decision for you. Maybe you have an over-controlling father or parents or whatever that's choosing for you, but ultimately it's your decision. You don't have to listen to them. This is your choice. It's your life. You get to live it how you want to. And if you're not, right? There's no real excuse. You're not making that decision. You're not taking your life into your own hands. You can do it. And it's your choice too. If you decide you don't want to, then hey, go ahead. It's fine. Your choice, I guess. But if you want to find a purpose in life and you want to be happy, and this is, okay, I'm looking at my notes and I see how everything is fitting together and why I rearranged everything. But if you're unhappy in life, I think it means that you haven't found your path. If you're not finding enjoyment in life, that means that you're doing something wrong, right? I believe that everybody has personal responsibility for their own life. It's your life. Nobody else runs it, right? You're you. You have control over you. Nobody else does. So you have to make that choice. You have to decide how you're going to live. And just kind of said that. Yeah, maybe I didn't need to repeat that. Maybe I was more on the right track with this note thing than I was. But if you're not happy right now, you can be. It's your choice. You can hide behind this idea that maybe you have a mental illness or your brain chemicals are messed up. Maybe it's true. I don't know. But and this is something that I believed when I was younger, that I was just sick and I wasn't ever going to be happy, because I was a very depressed kid from the time I was 15 to probably 16, 17. Did not have a fun time. And I gave up for a little while and decided that, you know what, I don't, I'm not going to, I can't, everything I tried to do is not working. So I'm going to stop trying. But eventually I got over that and kept trying. But probably I just had some support in my life and some areas that got me to jump out of that and start working on what I wanted to do. But here's the thing. I had the choice, right? And I made the choice to try to be happy, I guess, as I tried to figure it out. And that's why I've been able to figure out the things I have, and that's why I've been able to make the progress on my path. And whether or not you really believe I'm doing a great job, I think that if you look at anybody who is living a fantastic life, somebody like a Joe Rogan or I don't know, that's the immediate example that pops into my mind. These are people who have not given up and have decided that I have sole dominion over my life. I get to choose what happens. I may not be happy right now, but I can figure it out. You believe in yourself and you can do it. And maybe you just need some encouragement. And it's very hard when you're depressed to find that. I totally empathize. I don't mean to be degrading or to be mean, right? I don't want to be harsh, but these are the facts of life. If you're not happy, it's because of you. Not anybody else. Not because something happened to you. It's because you can't handle it. And that's fine. There are many things that I can't handle. If my parents died, that would suck. And I'm going to cry. And it's going to be a big hindrance in my life for a lot of reasons. Not just because I live with them and pretty much rely on them to keep me alive at the moment, but because of my emotional attachment to those people. And there are many things that can happen that can set you off balance in these ways, but you got to understand that you can come back. And this is what I'm trying to get to. The point I'm trying to make is that if you want fulfillment in your life, to be happy all the time, it's not going to happen, obviously, to be happy all the time. But if you want to be able to have a better standard of life, you have to change it. And you have to choose the path that you want to do. You have to decide, what do I want in life? How am I going to get it? And it's your choice. I can't tell you how to do it. What I have done is, looked at what do I deeply, and this took a long time to figure out, guys. It takes a while to figure this out. When I was, let's start, I guess, when I was in school, I was very unhappy with my life. And I knew that, part of me really knew that I was on the wrong path. I thought that I was doing the most utilitarian thing, I guess, doing what was best for me by going to school and doing what my parents told me to go to school and get a job, go to college, all that. I thought that was the right path. But part of me definitely knew it wasn't. And so I was very unhappy. I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't having the efficacy that I wanted. I wasn't meeting all these values and desires that I hadn't really spelled out yet. But I knew that I valued freedom, especially. I was a young anarchist. And I knew that being in school was harmful. I knew that school was harmful because it's an authoritarian system where you don't really have very much decisions making abilities as a kid, right? You don't get to choose what classes you take. You may get to choose your electives, but at least at Kings Valley Charter School, you didn't have very many choices, and you only got 2 electives, and the rest of it was things that were handed to you by the administration and everybody in charge. So I knew that I wasn't happy there, and I wanted freedom. So I decided, well, through a lot of thought process and talking to a lot of people and listening to a lot of people, that the only way I could actually be free was to get out of school. So that's what I tried to do, and I tried very hard, and eventually it happened, and I solved that issue for myself. I got out of school. I was free all of a sudden, and I felt a lot better. I was quite happy. I was on this path that I wanted to do. And then eventually I kind of was like, oh, this is not so fun. I didn't really know why it wasn't working out. I was like, dude, I got everything I wanted. I wanted out of school. I'm out of school. What's going on here, Nick? Why aren't you happy? But I just wasn't. And yes, I was using Stoicism at this time. But that's not really important. That's not what I want to say. It wasn't. I have to say, Stoicism is not the only thing that is beneficial. But shoot, this is what I want to say. This is actually, I've been thinking about this. I'm going to say this another time. We don't need to talk about Stoicism. I'm sorry. But I was unhappy. I wasn't getting the things done that I wanted to do. I think that's what was happening. I was free, but I wasn't using my freedom responsibly. So I had to learn responsibility, and it's taken me a long time, and some people might say I haven't learned it yet, but I've made quite great steps to get better, and only because I found the path to do it, and only because I had the desire to get better that I tried. And I don't know, a lot of it is probably luck that I've been able to do what I've been able to do, because I fell into the right circles. I called Michael Dean just at the right time to get a microphone and join the Fiends, and that set me up for a very wide network that has been very useful to me, right? So all of these things, part of it's luck, but most of it is because I decided that this is what was going to happen. And now, as I felt some struggle in the last year or so of trying to figure out exactly what I'm going to do, I kind of had I didn't share this with many people, but I've been shoot, I'm talking so much and so fast. Let's slow down. I didn't share this much, but I guess a few months ago I was seriously considering, do I want to do this anymore? Do I want to be a farmer? Do I want to do this yak thing? And I had to seriously consider, what do I want to do? Again, right? I seriously considered it earlier, and when I was younger, when I was in school, I thought, well, I want to get out of school. I want to be a farmer because I enjoy working with animals, and I liked the idea of it. And then I tried it out, and it was hard. It's been hard. It's been difficult, and especially over the last year, where I actually had to start making money because I'm 18. The first few months of being an adult were pretty scary for me. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I had a loose plan, and I thought, well, this can work out. But there was always this, I don't know, there was this nagging feeling that I'm not doing what I need to be doing, and I wasn't doing it right, and that I had to figure it out. And I seriously considered quitting, figuring out something else I could do and create an exit strategy. How do I sell off these animals and do something different? Because I didn't know. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with my life. So luckily I had a good friend, Philip Frey. Still have him, but at the time I had him too. I always feel like I need to clarify that Philip's still alive, and many people in my mastermind group too, who helped me with this. But Philip especially kind of set me up through. He's been helping me out with personal development, kind of coaching me through a lot of this, and we sat down, and he kind of gave me the idea. I don't remember exactly how this happened. I think him and I did this together, but took a certain approach to looking at how do you want to live your life. And I'm not going to explain that today. There are many approaches. And if you're interested, look into it. Email me. I can point you in some directions too. But we sat down and we looked at, what do you want to do? And we used this needs-based approach that Philip uses. And I call needs, values, and desires. So what I desired out of life was all these different things. I'm not going to get into it. But I spelled it out, and so I had some clarity. This is what I want out of life. Now, how do I make those happen? And when I looked at it, it seemed like to me that the lifestyle that I desired, what I wanted out of life, was a simple life close to the earth and being able to spend time with the natural world. That's really what I desired. And there are, of course, many other things that I desired. And I decided, well, okay, this farm thing is what I want to do because that makes the most sense. I'm going to build a lifestyle, or that I'm going to. Is that the way I want to phrase that? I'm going to pursue this lifestyle, and the way I'm going to make it sustainable is to make money off of it, to make sure that I can do this all day, stuff that I enjoy, and be happy, right? Because that's what I want. Make money off what I want, what I enjoy, right? That was the idea. So I found it. Does that make sense? Did I take you on this crazy, wild adventure through the mind of Nick Hazelton and these crazy notes that I wrote that don't make any sense? If somebody else read this, it would make kind of sense, but there's a lot of things in my head that I didn't put down, I think. Anyway, does any of this make sense? I don't know. But so you get what I mean is I think there are a lot of people who are having difficulty finding their purpose in life. And there are many people who have found a purpose in life that is not entirely healthy. And for me to go deeper, I have to describe all of these methods and beliefs I have of and all these different subjects to really get you to where I am now. It's such a crazy journey. I don't know how to explain it fully in one episode, but this is just one part of it, trying to find the best life possible. And I think it's a very important one. And I think that if you feel like you're not that you're not happy in life, you need to change the direction you're moving in. And I don't mean that you're feeling unhappy because something happened that you couldn't really control. I mean, like somebody dying. I mean, like what do I mean? I mean that if you're not happy every day, that's not also what I want to say. There's always ups and downs, and it depends on very many different things. But if you're generally not happy about life, you need to make some changes, whether it's in your diet, your exercise activities, or the mindset you have on life and the direction that you're moving in your personal development. Because like it or not, we're becoming well, let's say this differently. Sorry. You're yourself, right? That totally makes sense. But what I mean by that is, what do I mean by that? I'm trying to communicate this idea that we're becoming somebody, and we get to decide who that is, or we can decide not to and just kind of go with the flow. Either way, you make a decision on who you're going to be. So you could follow all of these paths that people are pushing you towards, that society wants you to do, that all your friends and your peers think is the best way. You can do that. Or you can examine it and look at, what do I really want? What do I want out of life? And you can get it, but only if you try. So that's what I want to say today. I think that if you want to try, well, you can message me and I can give you some direct resources, but some things that I have found very valuable are, well, I don't know where Philip Frey got this, but he does a coaching service, and if you pay him, I don't know how much money, I'd have to ask him. But if you would like to, I don't know, I'm trying to think of how, I'm trying to give as much information in a simple way as possible. The way I did it, You can learn from me or Philip Frey. I would probably pass you on to Philip Frey because I don't really want to describe all this. I don't, But anyway, yeah, talk to him. You can look into Jordan Peterson's self-authoring process. I would recommend Nathaniel Brandon's 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. And this, that's my favorite series from School Sucks, where it goes into living purposefully, because that's a big part of it, right? There are many pieces of that, but living, if you want to find your purpose in life, I would highly recommend those sources, and I would just highly recommend thinking about it. If you don't know, it's probably going to take some time to figure it out. Don't feel bad that you're not getting it right away, no matter how old you are. Even if you're 60, you haven't found your purpose in life. Find it now, man. Live the rest of your 20 years or whatever you have left, pursuing something great. But only if you want to. Only if you want to. That's all I've got for you guys today. If you would like to help out the Yakkin with Nick podcast, the best thing you could do is pledge on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/justyakin. That's PATREON, /just Yakkin, JUSTYAKKIN. Oh, wait, no, I forgot the .com in there. It's patreon.com/just Yakkin. patreon.com/JUSTYAKKIN. And you can help out that way. You can also help me out by writing reviews on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you find us. Write a review. Let people know what you thought about us. I really appreciate it. I haven't checked to see if we have any reviews. If we do, I apologize. I haven't read any. I might go look at that right away. Anyway, thank you for that. If you do that, I'd really appreciate it. The other thing is to give me some feedback. What do you think about the things I talk about? Do you enjoy it? Did you enjoy this episode? If not, let me know. If so, let me know. I don't want to take all of your time. I understand that your time is valuable, and the fact that you just give me some time to listen to this show is quite an honor, and I really appreciate it. It's awesome to have a group of people that I get consistently above 30 downloads every day or every episode, and that means that there's at least 30 or 50 of you that regularly listen. Between them that regularly listen. Anyway, I really appreciate that, and I think that's really cool. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I'm very grateful. So if you'd give me your feedback too, it would be an absolute honor. You can hop in my Yakkin with Nick feedback group on Facebook. Let me know what you think in there. I actively try to get some feedback on things that I do from there. You can email me at yakkinwithnick@gmail.com. That's YAKKI. If you're listening, you can probably see the title. It's yakkinwithnick@gmail.com. I don't need to spell it out for you. You can comment or write me on Facebook. I post the show links to my wall and then also in the feedback group. You can also comment on the website at, what is it? What is it? I think that my website, yes, I know what my website is. It's justyakin.libsyn.com. That's JUSTYAKKIN.libsyn, LIBSYN.com. Libsyn is Liberated Syndication. So libsyn.com, and you can find all the archives there. You can find them on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, and pretty much any podcatcher. So with that, I am officially done. I will talk to you again, hopefully this week. We'll see. Thank you.